800-321-8828.
And this is Rita Cosby. Everyone expects it is going to be a big showdown at the UN this week. Of course, we got a lot of characters coming in. We've got Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and a number of others coming here. Of course, a lot of the world leaders will be here. But one of the issues that I think is going to be, the forefront issue this week is what is going to be presented by the Palestinian Authority leader, Mahmoud Abbas. What is the future of the Palestinian state? That's what they want to do. They want to get recognition, and they're sort of fast-tracking the peace process, which a lot of people are saying, whoa, wait. You haven't given us concessions enough to get recognized as a state, to get UN membership, all these different things. And it is certainly causing extreme concern among many people, including the U.S. And continuing with us now is former Congressman Joe DioGuardi. I wanted to have you comment about what's happening this week. You and I were at an event for Laniato Hospital, American Friends of Laniato Hospital, at the Museum of Jewish Heritage last night. It was a great event, and everybody was talking to me about this week. Tell us what you think is going to happen and how perilous this is, what the Palestinian leader is planning on doing.
Well, first, Rita, look what happens when you kick the can down the road. And this can has been kicked so many times, and we're in a worse shape now than we've ever been on this issue. And it shows you what's going on with the budget fight right now, the same thing. But listen, I'm a big supporter of Israel. There's no question that whatever happens, Israel's security has to be paramount in any equation. But any unilateral action is not going to work. We know that. And what we have now is, out of, I guess, extreme frustration, we have this coming up, and frankly, it's not going to work. It can't work. I mean, the whole issue of Israel has to start with a partner that's willing to recognize its existence. And since Hamas is still part of the Palestinian, provisional government, and they have not yet recanted on this idea that Israel should not exist. And you mentioned Ahmadinejad. He's another one that doesn't think Israel should exist.
Yeah, and it's so outrageous. Here he is. I look every time, and you must just shake your head. You see these characters, and you kind of go, how are they even in the U.S. saying some of this rhetoric like Ahmadinejad? The Holocaust never happened. I mean, that's the UN. But it's shameful sometimes to hear this rhetoric on our soil.
Rita, we've got big problems with Iran. I just hope our government, our intelligence services are smart enough to see it coming. They didn't see it coming in Afghanistan. They didn't see it in Iraq. And look what it cost us. And now we've got Iran, looking for a nuclear weapon. It's hard to understand where we're going on that. But I can tell you that if there's a solution to the Israel crisis that we face right now, it is with Hamas at least beginning the process, or the government that they're part of. And since they're part of it, they have to join with that government, I hope, saying that, yes, we do recognize Israel's right to exist.
The problem is, do you ever see that happening? I mean, right now it doesn't. They're pushing forward without that recognition, and I think that's, that is very troublesome.
Right, and that's why this unilateral action is not going to work. It's not going to work.
What do you think? What can the world community? What can the U.S. do?
Well, the only thing we can do is use our good offices and leverage to get these parties back to the table. It's been done before. It's got to be done again so they can start talking about the details. Because without talking about those details, which secure Israel's borders, that's a very key part of this. You cannot, after all the investment we've made in blood and treasure in keeping that democratic country, viable over there in that terrible part of the world for democracy right now. Hopefully it's changing. We cannot in any way endanger the security of Israel.
I agree. And real quick, by the way, you had an amazing project that you were talking about last night at this event about Albania, about saving the Jews in Albania. Tell us real quick, if you could, Congressman, about that.
Well, my wife Shirley and Cloyes and I have played.
Who I love, by the way. Shirley's great.
in talking about what I discovered by accident when I brought the great Congressman Tom Lantos. He was saved from the Holocaust by Raoul Wallenberg, and he helped me when I was a congressman from 1985 to 89 deal with the issue of Kosovo. Now it's a free state, a recognized state by over 70 countries. But in the process of that, I was getting some good publicity from Albanians all over the world because they saw me doing things that people were not doing at a time when Milosevic was creating a genocide in Bosnia. He began to start that process. Before that, he created a war in Croatia, Slovenia. We tend to forget this. But my wife and I pretty much stopped that genocide against the Albanians of Kosovo when we got him indicted through our friends in Congress and went to The Hague to testify against them. But what I found out when I brought Congressman Lantos to the capital of Albania in 1990, and that was May, it was still a communist state. The dictator was still there. The old one died, but a successor was there, Ahmed Zalia. They were so nervous that I had brought the chairman of the Congressional Human Rights Caucus. They found a file from the Communist Archives as a gift to him. This was really kind of patronizing him. And it was a file of the letters and news clippings of the Jews that were rescued in World War II. Mind you now, this is 1990.
Oh, that must have been staggering. What was your reaction, Congressman?
Well,
wow.
When Lantos saw, he realized this was significant. It was in many languages, but I read a couple, and I said, Tom, give this to me. I'm going to send it to Yad Vashem. This looks like an important thing. Well, guess what we find out? After all now the research, these last 20 years, 67 Albanians have been given righteous among Gentiles or righteous among nations.
Wow.
We found out is that every Jew in Albania, and some were there from the burning of the first temple in the 70 AD, and every Jew who found out that if you get to Albania, where their culture says it's called Besa, that you will be protected and we will have to die before someone hurts you, whether you're in our house or our country. 2,000 more, plus, I'd say over 2,000 Jews made it across from Yugoslavia and Western Europe into Albania and was saved. Now,
that's an amazing.
Was given up to the Nazis. It's the only nation that could say it. Many people tell me, well, what about Bulgaria? They did something very good. They saved all the Jewish Bulgarian citizens, but the ones that were sent from the outside into Bulgaria, they gave up and were put into the concentration camps. Not one went from Albania to any concentration camps. And that's a story that has to be told. We have a book called Rescue in Albania. If people want to know more about that, they should go on our website, AACL.com, www.aacl.com. That stands for the Albanian American Civic League. It's a great story. It's got to be told. These are people who sacrificed their lives to save others, and many of them can't even get rewarded or awarded any medals. Why? Because the original people that were saved have died. The communists let 45 years go by until they let this information out.
Wow. And thank goodness that has been recovered and that you've been following up on this. I'd love to have you back again, Congressman, just even to talk further about this issue, because I think it is so important for history, and how wonderful that you and your wife were working on this. Thank you so much, Congressman.